Like, oh, hey
That
everyone,
was interesting.
and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And John.
JD, super dramatic pause there.
I had gotten an error saying we couldn't stream to one of the sources, which was Instagram, which I don't think worked last week anyway. So it's like remove it, and then the screen went blank for a minute. So,
That's great.
Technical difficulties.
Instagram's having issues these days anyway. They've added so many ads into their feeds.
Oh my
It's
god!
ridiculous.
Yeah, don't get me started on their ads.
It's literally like I mean, it used to be like the stuff that I've subscribed to. You know, I'd get one ad every 5 or 10 posts. Now I get 5 ads and then a post. It's ridiculous.
The worst is when you're watching reels, and like the first reel you click on, it plays, and then all of a sudden, ad starting in 5 seconds. Why? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So how's everyone doing this week, John? How are you?
Enjoying my calming tea here. Yeah, I'm doing okay. We got a big work thing on Wednesday. I got to make a presentation to something like 1,000 to 2,000 developers, company wide. Going to be really fun.
Oh, sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it's a blast, especially for an introvert, OCD, ADD, HD guy. Let me tell you something. You know, it's just smooth sailing. I'm just going to drink a half a fifth of tequila just before. I should be able to make it through.
I have a feeling you were really happy about that email we got this week.
What?
I'll explain when it's my turn.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm in the mid 300s on One Piece, so I've made it through the filler and the one arc I couldn't. No, was it Long Ring Island that I couldn't stand? So yeah, everything's just hunky dory here.
Oh, that's good. How about you, JD? Anything exciting? You're muted. You're muted.
You are. Yeah.
I was adjusting and coughing, and I tried to take off my mute. I'm okay. School's officially underway. Got to watch a wrestling pay.
Ouch.
JD's dying.
I just had something go down the wrong pipe. Got to watch a wrestling pay-per-view this afternoon. Slow week otherwise.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, slow week too. I learned something very interesting this week.
What was that?
I did something stupid. So every once in a while you read
You learned how to do something stupid? Okay.
No, you read articles on like different medical things, and I had been reading a lot about potassium, right? And like or magnesium. I'm sorry, magnesium, and all the like benefits that magnesium has to help you sleep, and
all
these different things. So, like,
I see where this is going.
I bought a magnesium supplement, and I started taking it, and like didn't notice anything at first. In the last few days, I noticed like I just was tired, and I wasn't feeling well, and I was like dizzy, and like I read this before I started taking it, but I didn't realize that it actually worked that well. So magnesium will lower your blood pressure, and I already take blood pressure medicine because I'm on I have hypertension. So the combination of the two, I had very low blood pressure. It's like, oh, okay. So
you were super chill.
Exactly. So I stopped taking it for the last couple of days, and like I'm back to feeling normal, and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like it's a little known fact that the supplement industry is almost total bullshit. There are times when a doctor would tell you to take a supplement, and when the doctor tells you to, take the supplement. But most of the time, you do not need supplements. There are so many additives in like as far as minerals and vitamins in all of our food these days. You do not need a supplement unless you're like, a woman of age and you need extra vitamin D, or you've got some kind of iron deficiency or something. But most of it is just these companies telling you, oh no, take this, this is good for this is good for this. And suddenly you're taking like 8 different supplements and you're not feeling right and you don't know why.
I take like 8 different supplements and I feel just fine, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, but you probably researched it, man. I mean, like I have some supplements too. I take them once every couple of days
Oh, I'm not talking
I don't
about
get any vitamin D. I'm a
no,
programmer. I don't go outside,
I did research it, and I know what you're talking about, especially when you see those ads for like take our bees XZ-25 supplement. It'll make you feel 25 years younger, and it's like, what is in this? You know?
or well, the one I've had a friend deal with was vitamin E. You know, it's like, take this vitamin E pill every day, except that vitamin E is fat soluble, and so your body just stores it, and you can literally start to have your organs break down from too much vitamin E. And
Or what's the one that's in tomato juice? Is it vitamin A?
A's in a lot of stuff.
Okay, there's one it's either I think it's tomato juice or carrot juice, and it's like it's not vitamin E. I think it's A, and it's like too much of that can actually kill you too, because it's not water soluble. Right,
kids. Yeah. These are the things you learn when you get older.
Yes,
and you have to start dealing with this stuff.
Super.
You learn this in between, anime and comic books.
But other than that, yeah, for me it was a slow week. It was the first full week of Karen's one son being away at school and her other son starting college, and so it's been hectic for her, and they went up yesterday to visit her one son because he needed his social security card to get his school ID, which I thought was weird. Weird. Yeah, well, he doesn't have a state ID yet. That was the whole thing. It's a whole complicated thing. He had to get his social security card. The social security card came, but he didn't get a state ID yet, so they were able to show his social security card and his birth certificate to get his school ID. Yes, I know. We live in a weird world.
Yes, America.
Yes. So it was hectic for her, but yeah. And then what else? I watched a new TV show on Disney Plus.
We gotta stop calling them TV shows. It really tells people how old we are. Well, streaming show now.
But you can watch it on TV. You have it hooked up to your TV.
They're not TVs anymore. They're just very large monitors.
Oh, you know what?
Soon it'll be like part of our wall or something.
Look at the elder on the show trying to hide our ages.
Hey, dude, don't make me wave my cane at you, okay?
And of course, that show was Ahsoka. So I'm kind of curious. Did you guys watch it?
I forgot that it premiered this week.
You did?
I totally forgot.
I thought I saw you post something about it.
I did. And immediately after I posted about it, I didn't think another word about it the rest of the week.
Oh my goodness.
I completely forgot.
School is starting. He's got a lot of stuff on his mind.
No, school started and we got the broadcast club we're trying to get up, and I got this other show that we're starting again from scratch, and I just forgot. Bad nerd. Because I was thinking about it as we sat down. I read the script. Well, I watched a couple. The script we're supposed to talk about today. I read that,
right,
and a couple of YouTube videos to prep me. So I over prepped on one thing, and completely forgot about the other.
Oh my!
But that's goodness. Okay. I over prepped on Ahsoka, so
I was worried about my lighting.
Thoughts.
stressing my production elements lately. I'm not thinking clearly. So
you are forcing me to consider about cleaning out my old office upstairs and actually setting it up for this.
Mike on the other show was like, "What are you doing to me? You're making me look bad." And I try to tell him what to do, and it made it worse. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to level up my game now, man.
Well, can we talk about Ahsoka? Are you worried about spoilers? There's nothing really spoiled.
Have I ever cared about a spoiler on this show?
Fair enough.
All right, so I'm curious what you think, John.
Okay, on the one hand, after I watched it and knowing I've seen Clone Wars, I've seen,
Rebels.
I've watched Rebels. I've watched the Crew of the Ghost. I'm of two minds. I'm schizophrenic on this. On the one hand, I really like it so far. Hi, Classy. I really like the show. I hope that Ahsoka gets to do more. She hasn't so far. She's been written as quite taciturn, which is not really her. But then she's got a lot of stuff on her mind. A lot of stuff is starting to pop off. On the other hand, if it goes where a lot of online YouTubers seem to think it's going, and where I think it's going, as far as Ezra Bridger's character is concerned, I'm going to be very upset, and I might just like give up Star Wars because I'm tired. Yeah, no, I'm tired of getting gut punched. There's like, what's the point of watching a show if every hero they come up with gets torn down?
That's the entire point of drama.
No,
like stories don't get told with happy people.
Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on. I haven't been watching any of the like theory stuff. I watched one video and I'm like, it was from Screen Crush, and I felt like they were stretching on some of the stuff, and I'm like, I'll just watch the show.
Not quite, considering the history of Ezra Bridger in Rebels. Like some of the stuff that they and other YouTubers have been talking about checks out considering his history, and
that they're going to bring him in as like a dark.
That he's Merrick. That he's the guy. He's the.
Oh no! I saw another theory where they think Merrick is someone. My money, that guy's actually Starkiller. Yes, that's the one I keep hearing. Merrick is actually Starkiller, not Ezra. Yes, thank you, Randy. Randy, for chiming in.
Interesting.
Because Merrick,
I hadn't heard that.
Because Starkiller is not his actual name in the game. It is Merrick. It's spelled differently.
No, yeah, but Merrick, the way it's spelled.
Yeah.
Merrick is an old word for wolf. It has to do with werewolves, actually, which is interesting because Patricia Briggs in her books has a character called Merrick who's the leader of all the werewolves. So it's like it's a word that's known in literary circles. But Merrick, Ezra Bridger had a very heavy tie with the wolves on his home planet.
I think it's going to be Starkiller.
I hope it is, because I do not want to see what. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
No. It's just my whole problem is, you want to see these heroes succeed. Yeah, they have to go through the shit, but in the end, you have to watch them succeed, because otherwise, what's the point of watching a hero? Just to get them torn down every time.
Also, Sam Witwer? No, not Sam Witwer. The guy who plays the voice of Starkiller is credited in the show, but his voice hasn't been on the show yet. So that's why they're saying he's going to be Starkiller.
I'll be happy if that's Starkiller. That's fine. And yeah, Ahsoka will build the new Jedi Temple, and hopefully it's
Luke is building it.
Well, I hope Ahsoka and Bridger chip in on that. But the thing is, like, it's, I just don't want to see Ezra Bridger, be turned to the dark side, because his whole point during the whole show was he was resisting the dark. He was so powerful on the light side. Even though he crossed over the line a couple of times, but he always pulled himself back, which showed you what kind of character he had, that he was not going to turn to the dark side.
I do think it's going to be.
Who created this character?
Filoni.
Who's writing the show?
Filoni.
It's his story. When has this happened in Star Wars? Other than that, it's the point for it to happen.
Okay, see, I knew you were going to take this, but here's the point. What is the most popular scenes so far in like Star Wars, whatever? One of the most unpopular scenes is when you meet Luke Skywalker. After all this time, he turns out to be just an old asshole, right? Everybody's like really disappointed. But one of the most popular scenes is in Mandalorian, where they finally see the hero that they all grew up with, and they see him succeed, right? because the whole thing about
John?
this is hope. Heroes
John?
give you hope, and if
John?
if every time you see a hero and they get nixed or they go to the dark side or they
John?
fuck up and they just get PTSD and they get divorced or whatever, what's the point of watching it if there's never going to be any hope?
What's the best Star Wars movie? Unanimously considered.
But it continues. It wasn't.
What's the best Star Wars movie?
Right. It's
What's the best? I want you to answer my question. What's the best Star Wars movie?
It's
As
the Empire.
votive, yeah, I was about to say for most fans.
It's Empire Strikes Back because it's Act 2. Act 2 is the best act of a drama. That's where the hero is challenged at most. You don't tell drama, you don't tell stories about heroes where they whistle through the wildflowers, right? They have to be in dark
like I
places.
said, they have to go through the shit or else there's nothing there.
And if
right?
they don't overcome anything, then why are we watching?
Right, they have to grow. But the point is,
I didn't say grow, I said overcome.
Right, but the thing is that if they make Ezra Bridger a Sith,
And
right?
you've made this decision based on one episode.
2 episodes.
2 episodes, but
2 episodes.
And,
So there, haha.
no,
I mean,
wait,
like,
hold on.
can
2 episodes, but the Inquisitor's only in one quick scene in the second episode.
I know, but I started with if
Thank you,
they
Dave.
go in the direction. I don't know if
But
that's
you've already,
actually going.
but you've already made the decision that that's what's happening. Like you're swearing off Star Wars based on an incomplete story, right?
Because
Like,
they keep shitting on all our heroes.
No, because first of
When?
all,
What hero? I mean, like
Han went out like a chump.
Han went out like a
Leia just-
fucking legend. Are you kidding me? Han confronted his son that went evil. Han had the death that Harrison Ford always wanted.
Okay.
Now Princess Leia is different because she actually, went and died, which kind of
But
messed
Han
things up.
Han wasn't stupid. He could have done the same thing without putting himself within lightsaber range.
Okay.
For crying out loud.
Hold on.
He did what he had to do. His death had to happen. His death is the crux that brings Ben Solo back from the dark side.
Yeah.
That had to happen, John. Like I will criticize
Thank you,
that. I
Randy.
can criticize the sequel trilogy all you want, right? This is what drama is. What is Randy says? Keep in mind, Filoni has to have his guys kick on.
Kick ass. Yeah.
Kick ass. Thank you. Sorry, I got the camera in front of my screen today.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, like this is what has to happen. Like otherwise, we don't watch anything, and we don't even know anything about Ezra. You've already made the decision that this is what's going to happen. And you're already disappointed.
No. I said if first and second. I told you. I said they have to go through something. They have to grow.
I think
right. You can't have a static hero. You have to. You're right. They have to grow. They have to overcome something in order for there to be a story at all. But in order for them to be on the hero's journey. But the problem is, if the end of that hero's journey every time is going out like a chump or going to the dark side or whatever,
no one's gone out like a chump. No one has gone out like a chump. You don't like. I can get people not liking Luke, but Luke saved the rebellion. I didn't love the way they did it either, but he saved the rebellion.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They fight on because of Luke.
I also kind of feel like you're watching a lot of Star Wars fans on the internet that are bitter about some of the things in the sequel trilogy that are now like Star Wars can do
No. I haven't been watching any of that. All I've been watching lately is recaps of all the storylines to figure out where that other galaxy is, because aside from the Ezra Bridger thing, if they bring in the Yuzavong or like the predecessors of the Night Sisters, like that other race with the big mushroom flat heads that supposedly came from another galaxy, that will reinvigorate the entire Star Wars franchise, because all of a sudden you have like the history of all the Star Wars universe, the Star Wars galaxy has almost basically been written. Like there's something about almost every sector in that galaxy. But if you introduce a whole new galaxy, oh my God, the storylines that can come out of that, it could be really interesting.
Randy says the only one who went out like a chump is Qui-Gon, and he's right. I mean, it's
that's
funny.
true. Yeah.
And the fact, well, you know what? And the first time Darth Maul, because like he had the high ground.
Boba Fett fell into a pit and was eaten.
Yeah.
And then the pit burped.
Was that one of those changes in the trilogy?
No, that was always there.
I was about to say, I think I remember that in the original. I don't know. I really liked it. I think you're right in one aspect. I feel like Ahsoka has been the plot driver more than actually, um, like she's the like things are happening to her and she's driving the plot, and it's really feels like it's what's her face's show,
Sabine.
Sabine. It feels like it's Sabine's show so
Sabine is
far.
awesome.
So, um, so yeah, like I can't say that it's like the best Ahsoka show. Everyone keeps calling it Rebels season 5,
It
which,
kind of is.
and I was about to say that's my real question that I kind of have. Yeah, Randy just said Rebels season 5. My real question is, in all honesty, do you feel that if you haven't watched Rebels, you'll be lost
Oh
with
yeah,
some
no,
of this?
that dude. I went through like, you have to know. You have to know Clone Wars. You have to know Rebels. You have to know a little bit about the Mandalorian. Like, again, if I remember correctly, like after this show, they're going to tie all the shows together with a movie. Like,
Yeah,
this is what we've talked about this before with the problem with the Marvel movies. You have to know at this point. You have to know so much backstory that's hard for anybody to get in at this point. Well, this, I mean, me knowing all this stuff, I love it.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I want somebody who
But
hasn't watched, and I didn't watch all of Rebels, and I watched
I haven't watched any of it.
and I watched a catch-up video about how the season 4 ended, basically.
oh yeah, no, that was a wow, yeah,
So like,
a lot
so
of
I
things.
know why we're at the point we're at, but I kind of feel like if you haven't watched any of that, you don't know who Thrawn is. You don't know why they're looking for him. You don't know who Ezra is, and yet I feel like you're thrown in and you're supposed to just know this.
But here's the thing. This has something that I think was missing from the sequel trilogy and from a lot of the Star Wars stuff. This is a group that considered themselves family. There's a lot of literary stuff to mine out of this, and it's a family that if you've watched Rebels, you actually care about them, you know. So I like this is something that could hold people's interest if they continue on with Ahsoka and
Yeah, and
and
this is why
Hera and Sabine
I
and
kind of wish JD had watched it, because I wanted to know if everything makes sense without having seen previous stuff.
by the way, we got to mention Ray Stevenson is Balin Skull. He is
The late great.
amazing, and he passed away. So he won't be in the season 2, and I feel like we got cheated as something because he's amazing in this.
Drew's asking, when did the Mando girl Sabine train as a Jedi?
After between Rebels and this.
Yeah, like that's I did get that impression too. That's an off-screen thing that they did.
Well, it wasn't totally off screen. We knew she was force sensitive because I forget what's his name who died.
Oh,
from
Randy said
Rebels.
it happens in season 3 of Rebels. I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
because she was training with the Darksaber.
Oh, that's right.
And you have to be force sensitive in order to move that thing around properly.
No,
have to-
Drew. Can anyone just be a Jedi? No, you have to be force sensitive. You have to have the midichlorians in your blood.
No, that was retconned.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
I don't think
kind
it has
of.
been retconned. That's been
It hasn't
headcanon
really been
retcon,
mentioned.
maybe.
It hasn't really been mentioned again ever.
No, it hasn't been mentioned again because everyone was like, "Eh," but it hasn't been retconned. Like, there's
If
still
they-
this idea. There's midichlorians in your blood.
If they do retcon it, it's going to be the metachlorians are there because of your force sensitivity, not the other way around.
Drew's gonna keep calling her Mando woman. That's
That's fine. Sabine Wren, yeah.
She's technically, because she's now a Padawan, so I guess she technically is a Jedi.
She's also a mechanical genius who devised a device that can actually destroy Beskar armor. Like she has a lot of potential. A lot of people thought she should have been like the main character of Rebels, but I always liked that Ezra was like the main character. He has more of a story to him.
Randy says,
Well, not
apparently,
more, about the same actually.
apparently everyone has a little force in them. I feel like that's a line that Randy uses to pick women up.
Oh, gosh.
Or on Colt 45.
No one from Mandalorian. No, the one
Nice.
from Mandalorian. Oh, what's her face?
Ooh, what? Where? When?
The head Mandalorian. The
The
Katie
armor.
Sackhoff's
Oh, the
character.
armor.
Oh, no, no, no. Oh God, Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bo-Katan. Yeah, I guess she has to be a little force sensitive. That's because like the sword fought Mando, so
Yeah.
um, um, and like they showed that, and like she was able to use this sword. So
I mean, the Darksaber was forged by a Jedi Mandalorian, right?
right,
So
so all right.
anyway, I like
Ah,
it. I'm going to continue watching.
you
That's
like
so,
it, but you don't have faith in the future of the show.
None.
I no. I didn't say that. I said
Fatalist O'Grady.
if they were gonna if they go in that direction. But I'm excited to see what happens when they go to this new galaxy, because the Yusufong were deadly. They killed hundreds of trillions. They wiped out Jedi left and right. They were devastating in the extended universe before it was taken out of canon. But if they were to bring them in at this point, holy crap! Now there's a story that would affect every level of Star Wars. It would be fun to watch.
Yeah,
They're not, because they can't be detected in the Force. That was one of the problems. Jedi had so many problems with them because normally they're using their Force detection to fight somebody with a lightsaber, and if you can't detect them, then your whole fighting style is off.
true. So
Plus they
right.
use nothing but was it they didn't use technology. It was all biologics. So their armor was living armor. Their weapons were living weapons. It was be really interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
sounds expensive to shoot.
Video walls, man. Video walls.
Oh, that's true. They do that now, don't they? All right. Well, speaking of Mandalorian, over on the social medias, it's time for some social media madness, guys.
Oh no! I mean, yay!
Well,
Go for it.
I had asked the question, what did you think of the first couple episodes of Ahsoka? And we got some responses. First, over on Facebook, Doug Lennox, who actually is a good friend of mine, said, setting up a good story. I hope they remember it is named Ahsoka, not the sidekicks of Ahsoka. It's her adventures, not theirs. P.S. Making her sidekick a Jedi is a bad idea.
No, it's not.
I guarantee Doug did not watch Rebels, so so he doesn't know that it's an established thing. But
Sabine's one of the most interesting characters in all of Star Wars, really. Put it bluntly.
yeah. So but yeah, like I agree with the sentiment of like make sure it's her story and not Sabine's. Like a lot of people like Sabine, but you called the show Ahsoka. If you called it Rebels season 5, I'd be like, okay, cool, do your thing. Over on the Tiki Talk, we had Mr. Random Randy Savage say, my favorite part is when I had the best sleep after a second episode. Ow!
Oh my.
And GH Tortilla said, my favorite part is when Anakin killed those damn kids. Ow.
Do they show that again?
No.
Oh.
I think he was just trying to be funny. It's TikTok. What do you want?
Not to exist.
And you call me a nihilist.
I didn't say
They're
I
going
wasn't.
to
I
Earth
just
to
called
meet
you.
They're going to Earth to meet Courtney Cox. It's true.
Oh.
Sounds like exactly the type of BGEG I have a movie about. PG-EG.
What is that? Okay, you gotta break that one down for us, Randy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not hip to the youngins' language. You know,
No comments on the lightsabers that don't lightsaber.
What?
No comments on the lightsabers that don't lightsaber.
you talking about the
The
staves that they can fight lightsabers with? Those are those have been canon for a while now
Yeah, they were in the
by the
Clone Wars,
Inquisitors. Well,
Attack of the Clones. The robots had those too.
This
yeah,
is
The
true.
robot guards had those. So yeah, like
yep,
that's not new.
yep.
Um,
It's either one of
unless he's
those or or
talking about
Beskar.
the, I don't know what we call them yet, the Dark Jedi in the
They're
show.
called the dark in canon. They're Dark Jedi. Like that. That's well, not canon, but in the extended universe books, they were
Right.
called Dark Jedi. Their lightsabers are orange with no white core, so
Right.
they're not red, and they don't so they're not Sith, and they don't have a white core in them, so they're not Jedi. So they're right in the middle. They hate both sides.
When Sabine got stabbed, she didn't have a mortal injury. True,
Well,
but,
go ahead.
but I feel
Yeah.
like that's happened before. People have been hit with lightsabers and not died before.
As long as it didn't hit something, like
Getting
go right
stabbed
through the orbital
Qui-Gon
artery
style.
and stop all of her blood from flowing. They
And
live in a place where they could take Ming Na Wen and give her an entire new midriff. I mean,
getting stabbed Qui-Gon style, but surviving. That's what Drew said.
Well,
My bad. BGEG
he went out like
is
a chump,
big bad
like we
evil
said.
guy.
Oh, how are we supposed to know that? I've never heard that before.
we ain't hip.
I think they did it, but I think with Sabine
Some
when
of us
she's
might
in the
need to
hospital,
hip.
they show that the injury's off to the side, so quote unquote missing vital organs. So I'm okay with that.
Again, remember what Shazbot, what is his name?
I saw a
Remember
TED
what
talk
Ba-
that explained it.
Yeah. Remember what Balin Skull said, right? When he was asked by the witch Morgan Elsbeth, she said kill Ahsoka, and he said, "Yeah, it'd be a shame. There's so few Jedi left." Like the Dark Jedi aren't really about killing per se, and so otherwise, what's again Shin would have taken lightsaber once it went through Sabine and just swung it across and basically bifurcated her, but
Right.
but she didn't, and the actress did well in that because she really, I mean, her character looked interested and and confused that this upstart was that was going after her with a lightsaber. It's like, you're coming after me with that? Are you really? Are we doing this? Okay, fine. But she wasn't really there. She wasn't really there to kill her.
Right.
So Dark Jedi, they're going to be mysterious. We're not going to figure out what the hell they're all about until the end, probably.
And then over on the X, I guess we can call it now, Shelly Marie, sorry, said, "We are saving it until a couple more come out. I heard many people like it though." Okay. The Gorilla Brain Pod said, "I think I fell asleep in the first 10 minutes and haven't gone back since." Wow.
Dang,
How did you fall asleep in the first 10 minutes? That was all like Indiana Jones-ish.
Randy over on TikTok said, "I'm watching it now. I'll update when I'm caught up."
I appreciate Randy updating us throughout multiple social media platforms.
Yes. So Wizard said, "WTF? I love Rebels now," and it's never mind. I'm not going to say the picture that he posted.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's Rebels season. This is from Marky Mark. It's Rebels season 5. I freaking love it, and I said it's really good. So, so I think it's I mean, it's a hit. Everyone likes it so far. Can't.
I like it so far myself.
Yeah. All right. And then finally, the last piece of social media madness. I had to include this. You'll know why in a second. We had talked about Deadpool 3 is on hiatus indefinitely because of the strikes. To which Timothy Jones said, "That completely sucks. I need 12 shots to help process it." But
Sour grapes available in fine newspapers across this great land.
Randy says, "Show that beautiful Mando booty." That's the picture that
Mando booty.
that
It's a thing.
that So Wizard, which is Joey, shared.
Mando booty? What?
Mando.
She's a Mandalorian,
Mando
and it's her booty. She's
Shake,
bent over
shake,
on the
shake.
bike.
Shake, shake, shake. Mando booty.
Oh,
Mando booty. I appreciate you guys giving me a form for this. Thank you.
That is all the social media madness for this week, boys and girls.
Thank God.
So, if you'd like to follow us on social media and be part of social media madness, here's our good friend D Squared to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Do you want to be part of social media madness? Well, go ahead and head on over to superheroespeak.com. You'll find all the links you need, episodes of the show, comic reviews by Chris, and other articles. We're posting stuff on there all the time. And while you're there, you can also check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars podcast network. Include great shows like the Pop Prison Power podcast, Colt 45, baby, So Wizard podcast, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Hashtag GW All-Stars, and you're not going to be disappointed. So, make sure that you are commenting on our Twitter articles. Could be a poignant comment, could be a stupid one. Either way, gives you a chance for Dave to possibly mispronounce your Twitter handle. All right, well, I've rambled on enough. Let's head back to Dave and the gents on Superhero Speak.
I miss Don. We got to get him back on soon.
mm-hmm.
So,
Sounds good, people.
yes. By the way, speaking of social media and social media madness, remember last week?
No.
We talked about the TikToks, and I was wrong. We were when I got off and I checked, we were at like 200 followers on TikTok.
Yes.
As of right now, we're at over 1,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
I was going to say 201.
So,
They say
John,
TikTok is
you got to dance.
I just did shake your. I just
no.
did shake your booty. What the hell?
No. I'll sing a rousing round of the Scotsman, but that's about as far as I'll go.
I'm dancing.
Yes.
Yes. Just pop it like.
Yeah.
And take it back.
And just a reminder for those who are watching now, or obviously those who are watching live, I'm sure already subscribed, but those who might be watching later, I'm sure you hit that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss when we go live Sunday nights here on this channel. And yeah, it's a lot of fun every week, right, guys?
Sure.
And thank you
Yeah.
for all those who have followed us on the TikTok. And on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with some news.
Some podcasts are like this.
Are there
Little
bloopers in?
Funny stuff happens on set all the time.
Do they ever make videos of that?
Yeah, sometimes.
I feel like they should.
Yeah.
I feel like fans would really like that.
I keep most of my bloopers in my OnlyFans scenes. What I keep in is the banter. Like
Okay.
just the kinds of funny things that we say to each other in between like positions or
Mhm.
whatever. This funny thing happened the other day actually, where I was Damien Dysky. He was like, "Are you working tomorrow?" And I cracked up laughing because I was like, "Oh, he's about to fuck me so hard."
Oh
Like,
God!
He's about to rail me.
Okay, that's kind of hot though. Was
yeah,
he just
consider it.
okay?
He's got like almost like a dread style.
Oh.
He'll f you really hard, but just the way he said it, I thought that's so funny. My answer was, "We'll see."
And some podcasts are like this.
They getting new fish from. You notice this on menus? It's like, oh, now they got the mahi. Where's that been? Dude, go read Moby Dick. See how many mahis they got in that sucker. Zilchy, bro. I'm somewhere the other day and the guy's like, oh, we got line caught barramundi. Dude, I don't give a fuck how you convince that thing to swim over here. I don't care if you poured nicotine in the water for a couple years and slowly got them addicted. And barramundi, I never heard of that. Give me a real fish people have heard of. Catfish. Swedish fish. It's a candy, but everybody's heard of it. Trout. Tuna fish. I'm just sick of some of this fake fish shit. We got butterfish. We got whitefish. What are you talking about? Where'd you get it? You got an email from the Lord and they said, we releasing, 2 new types of fish? Like it's a new shoe?
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
When I was younger, this guy was definitely a villain to me. As I'm older now, it's hard to be like, yeah, Hammond, you spent $23 billion making Jurassic Park. You could not spare more money, $1 million a year for this guy's loyalty. You spent $150,000 just to have these 2 people show up for a weekend.
Right.
You couldn't spend $1 million
on 1/3 of your infrastructure.
On
workforce.
1/3 of your infrastructure and data control.
1/3. The only reason he's a villain because he's sloppy. It's Newman. Like they'll never feel bad for him. That's what they did.
That's what it was.
They did. If it was anybody else, if it was Idris Elba or Matthew McConaughey,
If it had been Michael Cera, I'd have been like,
you are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
Oh my God.
Randy. Where the hell are you? What the hell kind of podcast are you listening to?
Wait a minute. I didn't watch that one before I uploaded it. Oh my God.
Clearly.
That second podcast, he's used that guy before. How fucking stupid is he? I got to know his name.
He's Theo Vaughn. He's a comedian.
Okay. Is he doing a bit?
He's doing a bit.
Oh my God.
I had to adjust my lighting after hearing that first one. I was like, what? This is going to get us kicked off of something or other. I'm a teacher. I probably just lost my job if anybody's watching.
The whole reason you're here, hardcore nudities. Thank you.
I mean, isn't that what we all signed up for? Listening to porn stars talk about
oh my God.
each other?
I'm sorry, John.
Oh, John's silent. This is like... You worry about the innuendos I slip into the show. Slip in. I didn't even mean that one. Nothing was slipped in that podcast, man. Clearly.
You know your mic is off, right?
There's a reason why I didn't watch Redo of Healer or watch the dog anime. I have, this is not my wheelhouse, guys. I'm the Puritan of the show.
Oh yeah, John.
He made it with me in mind. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks.
You made my night. Oh my God.
I've never seen John more uncomfortable, and I'm disappointed that it wasn't me doing it.
Okay, I'm done.
What?
All right. News. All right. Whew. News.
Yeah.
We gotta get serious again.
Let's go.
Yeah, especially this first article.
Yeah. How do you go ahead, Dave. Segue to this. Go ahead. I mean, you pride yourself on those, but I don't think in this case.
I'll figure this out. I swear to God.
All right.
I'm professional.
Sadly, Arlene Sorkin passed away this week at the age of 67. For those who aren't unfamiliar with who she is, she's the actress that was actually the inspiration.
And the actual.
Well, she was the inspiration for the creation of Harley Quinn and then became the voice of her in Bruce Timm's Batman, the animated series.
Yep.
Yeah, so she launched a character that we all love. And
so fun story. I didn't know that. I knew Arlene Sorkin was Harley Quinn. And I always knew who Arlene Sorkin was because my mom, God rest her soul, was a Days of Our Lives fanatic.
Yes.
Yep.
And summer of 1987, I'm going into second grade. And I remember the Days of Our Lives fairy tale story. which she actually considered one of her best things on the show and gave to her friend Paul Dini, who watched the videotape that she made for him when he was sick and saw her dressed as a court jester doing lame jokes in a dream sequence in Days of Our Lives. And that was the inspiration of Harley Quinn. I did not, it hit me as I was watching it last night. I said to myself, I've seen this. I remember this. Because my mom, that's what, like summertime, we would be home from school and we would watch, because mom worked from home. So she would have lunch break. She had her lunch break time so she could watch Days, right? Because she worked from home. She worked JCPenney telephone operator. So I remember seeing that and I was like, holy shit, I remember all of this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
sad.
It's a shame. And, you know, there goes the voice of Harley Quinn and Batman and like.
And it's what a legacy though, because she helped create a character that has such an impact on the Batman and Joker mythos that
dare I say the most successful, her and Deadpool are without a doubt the most successful comic book creations of the 1990s.
Yes.
And any comic book convention you go to, or anime convention, or wherever, anyone you go to, you're going to see one of two costumes. You're going to see Deadpool, and you're going to see Harley Quinn. One of the many iterations of Harley Quinn, but you're going to see her.
Do you see Harley Quinn in lots of places? Right, Randy? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
Sorry, John. You know what's sad? The real sad about she was only 67. Like that's not
that's
that old.
very young. That's the same age my father was.
Really?
So yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Dave. I don't know, man. This is I also did not realize she was married to Christopher Lloyd. I had no idea about that until I saw.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Yeah.
I had no clue. That's really feel really bad for him, man, because he married young and she's no longer with us. Now, I missed it. Had she been battling something for a while?
That's a good question.
It didn't say.
Yeah.
And you know what? In this case, it's I don't really care what it was. You know, a lot of these actors, they don't really tell you.
Yeah. Cause
what
of death
they've
was
been
not
going through.
disclosed. Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Christopher Lloyd, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Poor Christopher Lloyd. Like, I don't know, man. This is it was really a crappy week. Like, John actually put something on my Facebook page earlier this week. Terry Funk passed away, and that was if you're a pro wrestling fan, Terry Funk's probably the greatest professional wrestler ever. If you like the whole gamut of pro wrestling, and
I figure if they have to be really, really popular for me to have heard of them. And when I saw that, I was like, oh no, JD's probably already knows about it, but
oh no, yeah, we did. Mike and I did a show, did a big thing about him on our show this week. But I mean, this is a guy who was in tons of movies. He was in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, Paradise Alley, Sylvester Stallone. He was in Over the Top. Like Terry Funk was the man. He had he's a cowboy TV show in the early 90s. I cannot remember the title of it. Slipped my mind. It'll hit me after the show's over. I know it. But I mean, this has been a rough week, man.
Marcellus says, I was always ashamed to admit that I knew Arlene Sorkin from Days of Our Lives. So thanks, JD, for bringing that up.
Hey, man, I hold Days of Our Lives in the very high esteem because I loved my mom, and she absolutely loved it. And it actually taught me a lot about serialized storytelling, right? Because, I mean, it never failed. Like, from the time I was 5 was when I think that's when I started being conscious of her watching this stuff. Till I graduated high school. Every summer we'd spend time watching Days. And when I was in high school, like after football practice, we'd have some of my friends at the house and we would hang out with my mom and watch Days of Our Lives, you know, and that was every summer growing up. So fun memories. Oh, huge dork. I'm on this show, man. I'm on a show called Superheroes Speak. I lost my cool credibility long ago, if I ever had it.
You did gain a geek card, though. So
thank you.
Trade-offs.
You try to balance it out by doing a wrestling show, but I don't think that works.
Oh, wrestling isn't cool either. I am such a nerd. Like, no problem.
All right. So rest in peace. That's that's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
This next article just was like made me go, are we just like crazy for like so starved for news? Uh, James Gunn posted a picture on his social media of his dog wearing a cape, a Superman cape. Nora got dressed up for the art department today. And this has now led to so much speculation of Crypto is going to be in Superman Legacy. What do we think? Do we think including Crypto is going to be taken as like just fun and lighthearted, or just thought of as stupid?
I think it comes down to execution. I like Crypto because Superman is kind of silly, and it is kind of Americana and like heartwarming, and Crypto is that in general.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. I think that people assume because James Gunn likes to cast his friends and family and things, that his dog is definitely playing Crypto rather than it clearly being a gag.
Yes. Yeah.
And here's why I think we need Crypto in these movies, because all the Snyder fans and robots would cry.
Yeah, no, not serious enough.
There's a dog with a cape.
Unless all his scenes were in slow motion, it just they'd hate it. So
He'd have to be frothing at the mouth and be
yeah.
all desaturated, but it wouldn't work because he's white.
He'd have to break a leg, and Superman would have to put him down. That's the only way they'd accept him.
Oh my God.
That's Zack Snyder. Yeah.
Crypto.
Yeah. Yep.
Why'd you say Crypto? Why did you say Crypto?
Randy says we had Cosmo in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so why not? We'll be fine if he adds Crypto.
Cosmo was in Guardians 2, man. Cosmo been around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Cosmo has a bigger part in 3.
Much bigger part.
Yeah.
Gunn could make it work. And if they put Crypto in there, I'm fine with it because he's been fine in every other media adaptation they've done with him. But if they don't have Crypto on it, I'm also not going to shed tears.
Right.
Going to be really interesting to explain that one, though. I mean, okay, so completely, where is he an Earth dog that gained Superman's powers? Did he come from Krypton? And if he did, how the hell did another animal? Well, I mean, okay, so yeah, Kryptonians look exactly like humans too.
Are you really?
Yeah, I know, right? Never mind. I went down that road. I saw what was ahead. I turned right
it's
around.
So completely unrealistic. The alien that can fly has a dog that can do the same thing. Hold on. Bullshit, man.
Hold on, JD. Though I don't remember. Maybe you do. How did they explain Crypto in Smallville? How did he get his powers?
I think he was a dog that was exposed to kryptonite, like everything else on that show.
Yeah, kryptonite was weird in that show.
Yeah, it just created all the villains. What's Frosty got? What's up, Frosty?
Wait, the horse is going to be interesting.
Oh God, that's right. There's a horse, super horse.
Streaky.
Yeah.
Streaky the horse or Streaky the cat? I forget. Streaky the
I
horse.
think that was the cat.
That's the horse. Like that's Supergirl. Supergirl had the horse because Mort Weisinger. Girls love horses. We gotta give them all. We gotta give her a horse. The girls.
Barbie had a horse. Come on.
Barbie did have a horse.
So there you go.
Okay, I just tried.
So did
Comet.
Caligula.
It's Comet.
Comet.
The horse's name was Comet, right?
That is.
I had to scroll down past all of the talks about Christopher Reeves and horse.
Isn't that?
Yeah. Too soon?
Isn't that,
Oh my God.
Dave,
Comet is such a basic white bitch name for a horse. Anyway.
Kinda.
What?
Calling Supergirl a basic bitch? Come on, man.
He plays a big part in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
I believe it. That's the one
horse.
that Tom King wrote that one, right?
Shira had a Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wait, who wrote
Swiftwing?
Who wrote Woman of Tomorrow?
Dude, I think it was Tom King, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You knew that way too quickly, John.
What?
To give an extension of your bronyism. Shira's horse's name.
All right.
I'm sorry. Some things just weird things stick in my head, man.
And the horse she rode in on. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, and final piece of news, and this is part of it. Part of this doesn't shock me, because of everything going on. Dune Part 2 has been moved to next year, 2024.
Yeah,
but Aquaman 2 stays put for its December release, I believe.
So,
So-
no reshoots for Aquaman 2 then, I guess.
They
I
already
think they've
did a
already been
bunch of
completed.
yeah. So
They're sitting on this one, terrified of releasing it. Terrified.
yeah, they
I mean,
are.
yeah,
at
how
this
does it
point.
fit into anything? Like they're
Fit.
doing that.
Who cares
Yeah.
how it fits? It's gonna get eaten alive at the box office.
I know, but it's like they're doing. I feel like this is kind of the same situation as Swamp Thing. It's like they announce that they're not that they're canceling it before they even like put on the first episode. So they basically doomed it from the start. Same thing here, you know. It's like unless James Gunn should be out there saying this is going to fit into the new universe, like he is part of the new universe. At least that would give it a fighting chance.
I think they did say that in Flash, right? Remember that was the gag, is that Flash went through the multiple universes and Batman
And
always
he was-
changes, but Aquaman stays the same.
Right.
Kasan says, talking about Zack Snyder, anyone see the Rebel Moon trailer? It's going to be a 2-part movie.
I did. Oh boy.
No,
It's
but-
nothing to sneeze at, JD. I mean,
sorry, allergies.
yeah. I saw it. Did you see it, JD?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Like, how do you describe anything that Zack Snyder's put out? It's
Terrible.
an epic. It's, you know,
Bad.
yeah, it's, I don't know.
I
it
have
looks
no desire to
interesting.
see it. I have no desire to see it because I know he cuts a good trailer. I know that he thinks about how his action scenes are going to look, and then he goes, character, story, that's not important.
Do you remember when Sucker Punch came out? And I remember watching the trailer for
Oh,
Sucker Punch. And
yeah.
thought, this is a movie for people that masturbated in Sailor Moon.
Okay, I'm embarrassed that you made that joke,
Am I right?
but you're not wrong.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
Randy says it was, we got Star Wars at home.
I didn't see a trailer, but I like the line. That's funny.
I thought, is it the we got the Star Wars from Wish? Either way,
What was I don't know that that movie has like shades of Ad Astrum and what was that one with the
I thought you said shades of Ed Asner.
Ed Asner, yes. I am just that old that I'm going to make references that old.
I just did. That's what
Ed
I thought
Asner.
you said. Shades of Ed Asner.
What was that movie
wait,
with?
doesn't Ed Asner starring in Rebel Moon? I'm lost.
Oh my god! But what was that
would
movie?
actually
There's a
watch it if
movie
you wanted
something
to
something
forget
at
for a while.
of the Thousand Worlds or something. I forget. It was.
No idea.
I don't know. It's just it just seems like, yeah. I might watch the first hour and see what happens. But I get the feeling that if I see a bunch of women sniffing somebody's sweater and singing a sea shanty, I'm out.
Oh my
I'm
god!
done.
What?
Like Aquaman. That's his.
Did that happen in Aquaman? I don't even remember that.
In the
Snyder
extended Snyder
cut.
Justice League cut, yeah.
Did it? Oh my god! Clearly, I blocked that.
Remember when he jumped into
Oh.
the sea and they walked over and picked up his
The
sweater?
scene where
and then
Aquaman
they
and
started singing.
Batman are talking in that
No.
like town in
Wow.
Alaska or whatever. And
I remember
like,
the scene. I don't
they're
remember.
walking to the beach, and he like takes his clothes off and goes into the water. Well,
Okay.
in the Snyder cut, a woman takes his sweater and like sniffs it.
And then
Then
a
he
bunch
takes
of
a-
them start
and
singing
then-
this
and then they
like
all start singing.
dirge.
I
How can you not remember?
I know we
that?
watched the show. I mean, clearly, I hated it to the point where I was like, "This is dumb." And
We've
it's
made
blocked
jokes
from
about it
my
before
memory.
on the show. So
It's gone over my head. It's like those alien abductions I've experienced. since my
Valerian,
childhood.
right.
I don't remember any of them.
thanks,
Valerian.
man. Yeah, Valerian. Like it's a movie. That's what this kind of feels like.
Valerian
But-
Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no interest.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't think Snyder's.
Cara Delevingne was in it. That was it. And
Remember, she
then-
was in a lot of things for a while because she's a model and people like dug her. But then very quickly, everybody, oh yeah, she's not a very good actress,
No.
and they stopped casting her in things.
I'm going to ask a question I asked again. Now that the movie's delayed, Dune 2. Is it going
Trailer
to be
looked good.
Is it going to be a success though?
Yeah,
You think?
I do. I think
I'm
it is.
still a fan of the original.
the David Lynch
Me too.
one.
Yeah, I
Gold
liked
too.
that one. It was
David
Got
Lynch doesn't
Sting in
know.
a gold bikini. What else more do you want?
what? No, that was it. Was just
The wrestler
know.
thing in the gold bikini.
that was around the time I was reading a lot of Isaac Asimov, so it was kind of part of my mindset, and now I've got that that nostalgia
I
thing
don't know.
for it.
Nobody likes that. I mean, David Lynch doesn't even like that movie.
David Lynch doesn't like a lot of stuff he made.
I mean, do you like a lot of the stuff David Lynch made? I mean, I'll give you.
No,
I mean, there's
I
a lot of people
don't.
tell you,
I really
David
don't.
Lynch, like, you can't explain a David Lynch movie. Nobody can explain it.
No, you can't. Not even with a map. It's
What is-
like
What is the most famous thing he did? Is that Twin Peaks, right?
Probably Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't really explain that. You gotta watch it.
No.
Oh, it's entertaining as hell in a weird level. Like
Yeah.
Nobody on
Lynch-
that show could have explained it. Like they
I
didn't
don't
even
think
know
David
what the
Lynch
hell
could
they
explain it.
did. Yeah.
David Lynch just does things. Yeah, this will be fine.
Why is the rum always gone? Okay,
All right.
let's go.
I think we that's all the news I had because and it's good because we're at an hour. Because we had a lot of
Still
Star
news.
Wars talk at the top. But we do have
But?
the main topic. So before we get to the main topic, let's take a really quick commercial break and piss JD off, and we'll be right back with our main topic.
Attention, attention, family thinks high toy prices are joke.
Holy one-liner, Batman!
Drop your punchline, Joker! Listen, folks, only at Zellers are you protected by...
The law of Toyland. Nobody beats Zeller's prices on toys. Nobody. Color change Hot Wheels are just $1.77 each. And Micromaster Transformers are just $6.97 each.
You're protected at Zellers because the lowest price is the law.
I miss Toys R Us. I miss those days. I really do.
I didn't have time. I was going to find a commercial for Justice League Unlimited, but I didn't have time. And
First 6 times I saw that commercial, I was amused by it.
oh, come on. I've gotten better. Stop that.
You have. No, you have. But still. I got a bit.
All right.
I'm committed to my bit.
So we're going to talk about a movie that
never got made.
Never got made. Yes. Directed by George Miller, starring Armie Hammer, DJ Couture, Megan Gale, and a whole bunch of people that doesn't matter because
Adrian Brody as the Flash would have been interesting.
That's right, Adrian Brody. That's the other name I was trying to think of. So yeah, this is Justice League Mortal. This was supposed to be the movie that launched the DCEU before the DCEU became a thing.
Before the MCU became a thing.
Before the MCU became a thing. And it never got made. And so we all read the script for it. They had a script, they had a cast, they had a director. They did have a filming location at one point, and
they were ready to go.
Yeah, just one thing after another caused delays, and the movie never got made. And the next thing you knew, Man of Steel came out. So yeah,
this is a movie that is one of the greatest what if scenarios, because Warner was actually ahead of the ball. Because remember, this was supposed to be shot in the fall of 2007 and was to come out in the summer of 2008. Right. So it would have come out around the same time as The Dark Knight. It was actually the success of The Dark Knight that kind of pushed them away from doing this, right? Because Nolan wanted nothing to do with this thing. He just thought that his Batman was just too grounded. And he was right, especially because The Dark Knight wound up becoming I'll still say the greatest comic book movie ever made.
That is also another interesting point to make is they did ask Bale to be the Batman in this movie. And he said he wouldn't do it because Nolan didn't want to direct it.
Yeah, they made it abundantly clear they worked together, and that's it on these.
But then it's funny, when they were getting closer to making it, he actually came out and said in the press, he's not happy with the idea of there being two different Batmen floating around, and that making this movie is a bad idea.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I get that why, because if you're Christopher Nolan, this might surprise me as noticed, but Christopher Nolan is a bit of a control freak. And this thing, yeah, a little bit. And this would have gone completely outside of what he's doing. And actually, in that, considering that, I'm shocked this movie did get as far as it did. But let's be real. In the year 2007, George Miller, even though George Miller was still a good 8 years away from Fury Road, he was still George Miller, right? He's still the guy that had a wide enough filmography that he made both Mad Max and Babe.
Yeah.
So pretty impressive, actually. There.
Oh no, remarkably impressive. Man's a great filmmaker. He's really. Here's what I find interesting about this whole thing is because his big thing is practical effects. So what would the special effects in this movie have looked like? Because if you've watched like Fury Road, which is the last big like spectacular film, special effects in that movie were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So what would this
be like? I have a lot of thoughts about how this movie would have done, but let's kind of like. We all read the script. What were your initial thoughts after you read the script, John?
I wish this had been made. This would have been the perfect first movie. Well, this would have been the perfect first Justice League movie after a couple of years of movies of The Flash, The Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. This would have been the first The Avengers movie for the DCU if they had done it right. And this has been done before because there's a DC animated movie, Justice League Doom, which is loosely based on, I think, the original comic story that this is all based on. And
no, I think Justice League Doom is based on Jeff Johns' Justice League #1, which came out in 2011. This predates that. This is based on Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel,
and
Infinite Crisis.
So Justice League Doom.
Specifically the OMAC project.
Doom came out in 2012. That's right.
Yeah.
Huh. So Doom is based on this, which is based on the JLA.
No. Doom has nothing to do with this whatsoever. Justice League Doom is based on Jeff Johns and Jim Lee's Justice League reboot from the New 52.
Yeah, but they all revolve around the same concept of Batman has a bunch of contingency plans for each one of the Justice League.
Tower of Babel.
Somebody steals them and goes after them.
Tower of Babel.
Yeah, Tower of Babel.
I would have loved to have seen this. If they had done it right, they would have had a movie for each one of the Justice League members, and then they would have done this movie, and that would have been the Avengers of the DCU. This is perfect because it ties them all together. You know?
I do agree. I do think this is a better movie. In theory, the script. I think the script is better than the Joss Whedon version we got. And I can't count the Zack Snyder thing because what we saw was not Zack Snyder's initial version. We said this when we reviewed it.
Yeah.
That was not what he had in mind for Justice League initially. Like, we would not have gotten that movie. So it's a cheat. That's a cheat code movie. And it's still not that great. So I think this would have been better than both of those. That being said, I don't know if it's still my preferred version of what a Justice League movie should be. Drew says Tower of Babel is a perfect
third Justice League.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you need to have Batman established. Like I think Tower of Babel works like a Mark Waid, brilliant writer. Followed up the Grant Morrison run on JLA, which is the best Justice League comic book.
Right, and you have to have those established relationships.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, because like that was what I was thinking watching this. Like, this would have been a cool movie. I don't think this works as a first movie.
I agree with that.
Was the plan. Like, and it suffers from the thing that all
we should probably tell the plot, Dave, before we should probably because we're critiquing already. And
people are listening like, what the hell are we talking about?
All right. So
it occurred to me we haven't told what this movie is about yet. Continue.
Yeah.
All right. So the basic plot is there isn't a Justice League yet. There's an established group of heroes on the Earth: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. They're already on Earth operating, and
some have met each other. Some others haven't. The Flash hasn't met anybody yet.
Right. That they haven't met each other yet. They've met each other except for Flash. Established relationships is why I don't care to see Batman v Superman. Yeah, thanks for. So, the Flash is like the audience in to their relationships. Like, that's the way his character is written. He's already
This is the Barry Flash.
It's Barry. He's already an established hero. He's already married to Iris in this. And Wally already has powers, but Barry's like saying, don't, he wants him to be safe. Kind of.
While he's still young, like 17 or something.
Yeah, Wally's a kid basically in this. And Batman has a satellite system. It's called Brother Eye.
Which was another storyline.
Same one,
right?
OMAC Project. That's Infinite Crisis.
Yeah. That like spies on all the heroes, and with that he comes up with a contingency plan on like what to do if the heroes go rogue. That's a well-established Batman trope that's been used over and over again. And of course, the main villain in the movie, the two villains are Talia al Ghul and Maxwell Lord, and Maxwell Lord steals the Brother Eye, finds a way to hack into the Brother Eye.
Takes it over. Yeah.
Takes it over and starts taking out the heroes one by one. They don't die. He saves them, and craziness ensues. Trying to think, how detailed do we want to get?
It's an unmade movie. I'm sure.
It's an unmade movie, so
you can't have spoilers for a movie that isn't made.
Exactly,
and which is based on stuff that's been out for decades. So
we'll go into more detail, but again, you can find the script online. We did look it up, and
it's
you
called
read
Justice League Mortal.
128 pages. It's take
It was
an
a
hour.
fast read.
Yeah, it's a fast read. It took me 2 hours to read it. I'm a slow reader, so yeah. So basically Maxwell Lord teams up with Talia because Talia is a scorned lover of Batman, and he's able to she kisses him, and they get a nanobot to go on Batman, which is then they use that to spy on Batman.
Corny.
Yeah. There are some things in this movie that are corny, and the scorned lover thing I think is a corny angle.
The scorned lover thing is, to be fair, that's a lot of Talia al Ghul's like comic history.
Yeah,
is that I think they do a better job when Nolan finally got his hands on Talia al Ghul in Dark Knight Rises. I think he did a better job. But the nanotech, the nanotech French kiss, as I'm dubbing it, corny. You ever see Inner Space?
Yep.
With Martin Short and Dennis Quaid. Same thing when Martin Short kisses Meg Ryan, same exact thing, but no Dennis Quaid floating around Batman.
And basically, that's how they take out each heroes with nanotech, except Superman. We'll get to that in a minute. But the first one is John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. He's investigating something. He finds what they describe as a seahorse in a jar.
An alien seahorse.
An alien seahorse in a jar. And this is my first problem with the script. He takes the seahorse out of the jar and puts it in an evidence bag. Why would you take a sea creature out of water and put it in an evidence bag?
Because John Jones is a dick, man. And then the seahorse proceeds to light his ass on fire.
Yes. He's the only one that wasn't really attacked with nanotech. It was something that was sprayed on his skin, coating him with magnesium, which does not like oxygen. And
it keeps catching on fire, which also seemed weird because eventually it would burn itself out. But okay. So the Flash sees it on the news. He goes and to stop the fire that's being created by this. Wonder Woman knows that it's the Martian Manhunter. She goes to save him. That's how Flash gets sucked into this. They take Johns to a pool because putting him in water stops the fire. This magical fire that just keeps lighting. And
Dave's about aliens and stuff. I mean, I can't.
I know.
And for a penny.
But of course, since it's a seahorse that infects him, they're like, oh, well, we got to talk to Aquaman.
Logical. Sort of.
And this is the Aquaman from the late 90s, early 2000s comics, where he's the extremely bitter
and only has one hand.
The DC version of Namor, hating the surface world.
Mm-hmm.
And he only has one hand, which is like
the edgy, more interesting one. Let's put it that way.
The edgy, more interesting hand.
No, No. Look,
Randy's right. Magnesium also reacts with water, but hey, let's not.
He's the most badass version of Aquaman.
So, I mean, let's be honest. Jason Momoa was cast as Aquaman because of Peter David's Aquaman, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't get that. We don't get that casting if this version of Aquaman did not exist in the late 90s.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, the only interesting version of Aquaman. Let's just establish that.
Well, Bruce Timm's Aquaman was the one that, to save his own child, cut off his hand.
Way better, way better story because Bruce Timm does what Bruce Timm does, and took two famous because Arthur Jr. died in the 70s, right? And Aquaman doesn't lose his hand till the 90s. Bruce Timm merged those together, and we got the best of both worlds because that's what Bruce Timm gets to do or got to do.
Yep.
Back in the day. So this is kind of like that version of Aquaman, but we don't get that whole stuff because
Right. So obviously, they go to talk to him, and Superman goes to talk to him, and he's offended that he would even ask him, about this. But he agrees to help because Diana asks for help. Wonder Woman.
And Diana's hot. You just got to kind of, well, all right.
I think they're trying to establish because she's also royalty. She's the princess. He's the king of Atlantis, so he respects her royalty. I feel like that's the route they're going, but maybe
I didn't get anything about there was like a romantic thing. It was just
I read he wanted to get in the Amazonian knickers.
Oh boy. Yeah,
all aliens know each other,
right?
And then of course, across town, Green Lantern, who there's a lot of stuff has happened already. He hasn't gotten introduced yet. He's like looking at a diagram of a playground that he's building
because it's
John Stewart.
John Stewart, right?
John Stewart,
and he's an architect, and so he's putting together his latest project.
And he opens a package he got in the mail. Is it? I can't remember.
Oh my god, I can't remember either.
He opens something, and of course, a nanobot comes out, digs its way into his head, and goes behind his optic nerves, the eyes, and like it
blinds
him and keeps him from being able to concentrate. Because that's what's going to stop his powers.
Right.
The easier answer would have been because I would have done this before the parallax thing. You could have just had it yellow, right?
Yeah.
That would have been easier.
Yeah. Like that's the whole thing.
Bunch of mustard colored nanobots, and he'd have been in trouble.
Yeah, like that would have. That's my one. Not my one. That is one of my issues with the script. Is none of the ways the heroes are stopped are actual ways, other than maybe Aquaman and John Jones. You would stop these heroes.
Are you kidding me? What they did to the Flash was genius.
Yeah, kind of. It was,
like forcing him to continually phase and letting gravity just drag him, to the.
I kind of like that one too. To be honest with you.
Yeah, to the core, like that. What a way to go! Knowing that once you stopped orbiting the core, you'd be in the burning center, and then when you'd either die, he either died from lack of food, like he became a skeleton, or he stopped phasing and he melted in like 1,000-degree temperatures.
Okay, so Randy says, or nanobots mixed with fear toxin. But they use fear on Aquaman. They make him afraid of water.
Yeah, in the movie in Justice League War, they use the fear toxin on Hal Jordan.
See, which makes sense because Green Lantern is supposed to be the man without fear. Fear is the whole thing with Parallax. The whole fear thing would have worked. With Aquaman, they should have had him see his son die. That's how you
break his will, and because their whole power is from his willpower.
Right.
So.
Right.
Fear is, Jeff Johns had it all broken out. Fear is the opposite of will. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this could have been better. It's not bad, but it could have been better.
Yeah,
I think it's good considering some of the other stuff that's come out. So
compare
it with the rest.
I don't disagree. I think it just could have been better. I think a lot of this script suffers from this is good enough to get moving. We have to keep working on it, and you couldn't work on it because this movie was greenlit immediately, like one day before the writers' strike of 2007.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Right. So there weren't any.
Oh,
There weren't
That's
a lot
exactly
of
why.
rewrites.
That's
There
why I
weren't
couldn't go
rewrites.
through this.
Yeah. Yeah, there
That's
were no
the big thing
rewrites or anything.
That's why it stopped. That's why it stopped production. Strike happened. You cannot make a movie without that.
Right. And I feel like this probably would have been rewritten a couple times.
Oh, agreed.
before it
Yeah, it's
actually-
not there.
Yeah.
It's not there yet. Maybe it gets there. I mean, it's like it's unfair to do these unfinished movies because the shooting script is oftentimes not the final product. Like stuff happens, stuff changes daily. Like writers are changing things daily on the set. Actors and directors improv stuff. They come up with new ideas during movies all the time. So it is a little unfair, but I do think some of these nanobot solutions are more creative than others. And it's also repetitive because it's the same thing, right?
Yeah. That's
I didn't think it was that repetitive.
It's all
And
nanobots. It's all nanobots.
Yeah, but if it works, and that's what that.
But it's not very creative though. You know, like it's not. It doesn't make for. I don't think it makes for the best potential viewing experience. Like the Martian Manhunter on fire would have been bad as hell to look at, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this thing with Green Lantern would have been okay. I'm not sold on it though. Say I'd rather do the giant fear bug. That's me.
And then what was the other thing I was going to say? And then they put the thing in Flash that makes him vibrate.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Like,
right.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, and I understand one of Flash's powers is he vibrates so fast he goes through stuff. But the whole idea, like he went past through the lasso, just seemed weird to me.
No,
it felt like
there's a difference between like the lasso is magic, right? Forged by Hephaestus, like. So,
yeah,
you know,
I don't know.
There's allowances for that.
It felt like a bit of a cop out. And then, but the thing with his nanobot that drove me the most nuts is that it came out of his phone that Iris gave him. Like, was it just in his phone? Was it in Iris's phone for years, and they just waited for that moment to release it, or? Like, how did the nanobot get in there? Because like she gave it to him, and he went right to the Fortress of Solitude with it.
This goes back to there would have been another rewrite or two probably, you know. But the foundation of this is solid, you know.
Yeah, the foundation is solid. The nuts and bolts need tweaking.
Yeah, I mean, it gave them a reason to come. It gave them a reason to become the Justice League.
It does. So they all have to get together to figure out who and why this is happening, and what they can do to stop it.
Right. And Batman gets beaten up by one of these OMAC robots. OMAC.
Same ones.
OMAC.
Same ones we saw last week.
Right. Yeah. In Blue Beetle, it seems like that's
the
kind of
one-man
interesting that it came up twice.
Well, that's the Brother Eye thing. Brother Eye and OMAC. That's where that comes from, right? So that's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's funny because I kind of felt like after reading the script, I was like, is that kind of what they were doing in the first Suicide Squad movie with the aliens taking over the people and then becoming those Mighty Morphin Power bubble creatures?
Dave, no one knows what they were doing in that first Suicide movie. Not even the people making the movie.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like the same idea. They had to have hosts take over. Being taken over to turn into these robots.
To be fair, this would have been better than what we saw in the Suicide Squad. In Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's true.
That was bad.
The Suicide Squad did taking people over much better.
Oh yes, with the Starros, that was awesome.
Yeah, and they all died when they they immediately were dead when they attacked. Oh yeah,
yeah. They made that's one of the things I always hold in high esteem for was making Starro very right. It's very dangerous,
terrifying.
So, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they figure out it's Maxwell Lord. Wally does investigation, gives the information to Barry, who tells the rest of the Justice League. But Batman figures it out first. He goes right to where Maxwell Lord is. Basically is fighting him and his robot henchmen, and then the Justice League Maxwell Lord knows the Justice League is going to come to save Batman, and stop him, and like so it's all a trap, right?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
There's a full lineup costumes for Justice League Mortal.
Classy says there's a full lineup of costumes for Justice League Mortal. Yeah, there is. There's a full lineup. There's like tons of pre-production art. There's actually shots of Megan Gale in her Wonder Woman regalia.
Wonder Woman costume.
They never quite got anybody else to that point though.
Yeah. So basically the thing you find out is that the OMAC project in the 70s, they tried to do kids with psychic powers with mind control, and they all died except for Maxwell Lord was part of this project.
Very Stephen King.
Yes. So, of course, he uses his mind control powers on Superman. And the giant fight between Superman and Wonder Woman takes place. And I feel like...
See, that would have been awesome on the screen.
I feel like what you just said is the whole reason they did it. Other than that, they don't really need
otherwise,
it.
But it's perfect because how else do you neutralize those two? You make them fight against each other. Otherwise,
that was part of it. That was part of the comics that happened.
Yeah, and that's but that's it. Like otherwise, there's no way to neutralize those two.
This is why
Superman. It's called kryptonite.
Well, do we know, does kryptonite exist in this universe? Have they established kryptonite? There's a lot of things. So Wonder Woman kills in the OMAC Project comic, Wonder Woman killed Maxwell Lord.
Yes.
For this. So that's where that comes from.
Right, which is interesting because at the end of the fight, or during the fight, Maxwell Lord says, the only way to make this stop is for you to kill me. And Wonder Woman's like refuses to kill him.
Well, Superman should have just snapped his neck right there then, obviously.
See, that's what, I have zero problem with Wonder Woman icing a motherfucker because she's, that's her.
She's a warrior.
She's a warrior. Superman should not be like, well, fuck it. I guess I got to kill this dude. That just shouldn't be. When Superman starts going, Batman should question it. Batman, yeah, but that's why what Zack Snyder did was wrong. Where Superman's like, fuck it, got to break a neck. Who's next?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is not Superman.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously Batman kills Maxwell Lord to make the whole thing stop. That's when Superman breaks out of it. Blah blah blah. But it doesn't stop it because now he can transfer his consciousness to other people.
Yeah.
Maxwell Lord, that is. That's very Stephen Kingish too, I think.
Yeah, it is.
And he ends up transferring his consciousness into Barry and becomes the Super OMAC. But the Justice League at this point is able to get through to him and say, like, snap out of it. He snaps out of it and he saves everyone by running so fast into the Speed Force, and he takes Maxwell Lord's consciousness with him. And that's basically the movie.
Mm-hmm. Very Crisis.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No.
Not bad
at
all.
He says he loves the Superman versus Wonder Woman scene in the script.
Yeah.
It's good. I do feel like this would have been a better Justice League 3.
Yeah.
I think that was a good... I forget who said that comment earlier, but I feel like, this is a good third act.
Because here's the thing,
this
right?
would have been the first movie after them doing a single movie for each one of these characters.
No.
That's what I would.
No, that's not what the plan was. The plan was to start with this.
I know, but that was the bad plan. But
that was the plan.
Right. That was always the plan. And then that's why we ended up with Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman, then Justice League, and then them trying to do solo movies after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the whole thing is like, and I'm sorry, this whole thing is wrapped up in, this is the weird thing is like, and it makes no sense. And it doesn't add to the plot at all. They're talking about the heroes had made world peace at the beginning of the movie and like throughout the movie. And it was like, I don't get the point of that. Like, I feel like that's a plot point that like maybe they felt where they were going to explain later on in other movies. I don't know. It was just so weird.
Yeah, I agree. I think they were going for like a Pax Romana type of vibe. but it just didn't work.
Yeah, I think they could have just cut all of that world peace stuff out because
I don't disagree.
There's nothing in the
Yeah.
movie that like reflects on that either. There's nothing else in the script.
Mhm.
It's just like a weird side point that doesn't work in the rest of the movie.
100%
Yeah.
agree with you.
Again, you know, like you said, a couple of more rewrites, this thing would have been hot to trot. So, but even as it is now, way better than anything we actually got.
So here's my question. So in the beginning of the movie, we're at a funeral. And they mentioned a couple of heroes that are there, but not everyone.
But not Batman.
And not Batman. So
They fake you out, which is pretty good.
I was about to say, I was faked out. I thought it was Batman's funeral. Did anyone else think? Obviously, you did, John. JD,
Yeah,
did you?
Not that'd be Flash.
You knew it was going to be because they
Flash
always
is
kill
dead.
Flash.
Barry. Okay, when was this written? 2007. Barry's dead
in the comics. Yeah.
Barry and had been dead for 22 years at that point. So I assume Barry.
Yeah.
I was right, but you know, I also thought the presence of Wally was like a backdoor to that because he's the only sidekick character that's in the movie.
Yeah, as soon as he showed up, you knew that something was going to happen.
Right. There's no Robin.
Wally's the better character. So
right. We're at John Stewart for Green Lantern, not.
Well,
not Hal Jordan.
To be fair, John Stewart for a generation of kids is the Green Lantern because of the Justice League show.
Oh yeah. I don't disagree with that, but like I don't even like at this point. No, this is my whole point about this not working as a starting point because leave Batman and Superman out of it, maybe even Wonder Woman. Who knows any of these characters and even these versions, right?
A lot of people at that point.
Yeah, Justice League. We're just coming off the JLU show that was tremendously successful.
Yeah, but you're appealing just to those fans. You're not. It's not. Do you know what I'm saying? The MCU changed everything where that was movies that were geared towards everyone, not just the comic book or cartoon fan. Where this is something that's still geared towards a pre-existing audience that maybe isn't enough to make it a blockbuster.
Well, that's why I was saying that if they'd done it right, they should have had this should have been the team up movie after doing individual movies.
Oh yeah.
While I disagree with your premise, I think that there was a lot of people echoing the same concerns.
What's that?
I disagree with Dave's premise.
Oh, okay.
But I think that a lot of studio execs were probably echoing those exact same thoughts.
Drew says people thought Green Lantern movie was whitewashing the character and were upset.
That's true. There were people who thought that. No, 100%. There are people that did not read comics that just because remember, there's a lot of people that don't read comics. They just watch the cartoons. And to them,
they thought
Green Lantern was John Stewart, and then Ryan Reynolds shows them like what they made the Green Lantern white. Why'd they do that?
They should have started with Guy Gardner and just shocked everybody.
I was gonna say no one cares about Guy Gardner, but James Gunn's giving him to us in the form of Nathan
Andrew
Fillion.
Dice Clay as Guy Gardner in Green Lantern.
There was a time when that would have worked.
I know, right?
There is.
Time was 1990.
Yeah.
I still give Justice League Mortal script 8.5 out of 10.
That's a good review. I mean, I don't go that high, but it's pretty good. I think it could have been. I think the potential is there for something pretty good.
My problem with trying to score this properly is that it's hard to not compare it with the rest of the rest of the DCU. And
I was about to say I don't think you can score this just because it's not a made movie. It's a initial script draft.
Yeah, but it's still so much better than everything we had.
Yes,
you know.
And it would have looked interesting with George Miller helming it.
It works on the level. It works on the level of we're establishing the heroes as heroes. They don't kill. They're everything you want in your DC superheroes. It fails on character development and like really explaining to a wider audience who these characters are and why they're together and why we should care. You know. Because again, it falls on that DC trope. I do believe there are people at Warner Brothers who are just like, people are going to watch it just because it's Batman and Superman. They don't care about establishing a character. Just people love our characters. They're going to come just because of the characters. And I don't think that works anymore. So
I don't
let's
disagree.
see.
Yeah,
It's not a
Classy's right.
CGI big villain like we get now these days. It's just a
I said-
guy with a
Brainwashing
brainwashed heroes.
A severe lack of sky beams too.
Yeah, no sky beams.
Nary a sky beam.
You're
Yeah.
right. I don't know. Like this would have been interesting with practical effects as well. Yeah, with all the robots and everything.
The battle between Superman and Wonder Woman would have been just spectacular.
Yeah, I agree.
Kassan says, I would like to see an episode where you guys build your optimal DCU storyline. I want to see how you handle the Superman and Wonder Woman problem while keeping stakes high.
You're talking to the guy. I've thought about this stuff for years, man.
Oh,
I
that's-
would love to do that.
know-
My God.
Here's the problem. If they wrote Lex Luthor properly, he would have taken out the entire Justice League within a couple of weeks.
Lex Luthor can't even take out Superman. And
But that's the problem. If he was written properly, he's supposed to be a genius. You know how
He's
easy
not
it
a
is to take out
genius.
Superman?
He's not a genius, though. He is, but that's the Lex Luthor character. Is his ego gets in the way every single
Fair enough.
time.
Fair enough.
What's
But
Mark
if you had a
saying?
proper genius, you could take out every single one of them very easy.
Well, that
You
was
know?
that was Tower of Babel. And that was
Mark-
actually in that movie, in that comics, it's Ra's al Ghul.
Well, most
Marcellus
of,
says,
go ahead.
you guys just reminded me when I had to explain my little sister while Ryan Reynolds was playing Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, she was only watched Justice League Animated.
Right. And everybody, like I said, a generation of kids fell in love with Jon Stewart as their Green Lantern. But Jeff Johns doesn't like to hear that.
Most of the Justice League could be taken out by a sniper from a mile and a half away.
So I want to
All
say
you
that
need to know is where they were.
I do think
not the
when I read this, and maybe
You do that with a supersonic bullet, which you can get with most sniper rifles.
I know,
and they'll be dead before they even know it hit.
Okay, Grant Morrison.
I
Well,
know
that's
that,
the thing, though. That's the problem with these heroes. Like, it'd be so easy to take them out.
Classy says Jeff Johns my goat. Maybe for comics, not for movies.
Yeah, not a great producer. Some good comics though.
So what was I going to say? Oh, I don't know. When I was reading this, though, I kind of felt like should Maxwell Lord have been Lex Luthor?
Well, he was Maxwell Lord.
No, but there's an argument to be made that it could have been Luthor or it could have been Ra's al Ghul. I had an issue with them using Maxwell Lord, period, is I don't think that even what they did with him in the pre-Infinite Crisis stuff, I don't think he was a big enough villain to hold the weight. I remember when this was happening and they announced it was like Jay Baruchel was going to play him, and I'm like, Maxwell Lord?
Jay
And this is-
Baruchel?
Yeah, Jay Baruchel was going to play him. Yeah, a proper reaction. I don't
hiccup, please.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think that he had the gravitas as an actor or the
Not
character.
even.
I don't
Yeah.
think that it was the right call.
John would be the type to shoot at Superman.
Right.
Yeah,
No, but not Superman. But with Superman, you kryptonite bullet.
You just shoot Batman. It happens
But-
every time.
But I also kind of feel like, again, my mind is going to, like, would the movie be a success, especially if Maxwell Lord's the villain, because no one knows who Maxwell Lord is. But then again, we're getting a movie where it was more about the heroes and not the villains of the movie.
No, what you need, you cannot have, especially in something
Yeah.
this- if you're establishing your villains, you kind of need. You can't do Darkseid, right? And we saw that. Like Steppenwolf, I
Yeah.
think, was a fine villain for the Justice League we got. He was setting up Darkseid. I honestly think you could have done this with Deathstroke. I think Deathstroke is the perfect villain for this one because he could be working for somebody. What does Kassan say? I got the light in front of me. I can't read. I'm tired of superhero movies that really don't have stakes. You already know the studios are afraid to cut off their cash cow. A real writer would not have those limitations. Problem with a real writer, problem is a real writer's got to do his job. Like you're not doing that kind of autonomy that a writer, if these were his toys in the sandbox, could have. They're being paid, right? And they're being paid based on you do this, you do that, you do this. Like you have to hit these specific marks when you're doing work for hire work. right? And so I don't think it's a fair argument to make because that's not their job in this case. Classy says, I love the script described very detailed Talia and Bruce's kiss, and the OMAC finding out Bruce's weakness is love. Well, all men fall for the great power of love, as one Huey Lewis told us.
Yes, the power of boners compels you.
Hey, I'm the one getting blue. You got
John made a blue.
Talking about boner jams and shit.
Well,
that
one I'm kind of inured from because if you watch CinemaSins on YouTube, like one of the great sins of all movies is the power of boners compels you. It's like because people do some stupid things because the woman's hot, so obviously I have to go into that dark room where I heard that noise, knowing a monster was around.
To be fair, isn't that the place you want to go with the hot woman? Is the dark room?
Yes, unarmed with where the monster is. Yes,
Kassan is doubling down on this challenge.
All right, well, we'll talk about that off air. Hold on. I will say
it's so easy to kill them all.
With the stakes part, no, it's not so easy to kill them all. With the stakes part,
it is.
Oh my God, you are a supervillain. I think that's why they kill Barry off.
Come here, cat. I need something to pet.
to make you
feel kill your cat?
No,
Jesus, come here.
I need the Dr. Evil cat. Never mind.
John, I think we have your new catchphrase.
Ah, crap baskets.
By the power of boners.
That's why you kill Barry off, because to make you feel stakes in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And Barry's the one you can kill off, right? Because he's probably the most powerful, right? And like, I don't
not according to the writers, which is another problem. But
stop it. But I also think that you don't quite hit the level of resonance that you got in Crisis when Barry dies, right? Because when Barry dies in the original Crisis, it's a big moment. Which I'll referee a good fight. Oh, sorry.
No, hold on. John.
Now
says,
my wife just
Kassan
texted me.
says,
I'm in trouble for screaming boners.
Oh no.
Kassan says John versus Dave with JD is rough. I think he's describing this show every week.
Pretty much. And on our trips to the New York Comic Con too. But
sometimes it's John versus JD with me.
That'll happen. But that will happen from time to time.
Oh, speaking of New York Comic Con, that was the one thing I forgot to. I know this is a tangent. I was going to mention. I said our emails, and John, you looked confused. We had applied to do a panel at New York Comic Con this year
and got shut down
and got rejected. They said there were too many requests, and I did put it in kind of last minute. Even though I did have a couple, established writers that are fan favorites at New York Comic Con on the panel with us. But no, it's not.
Give it another couple of years. Well, we'll outlast all of them, and then they'll let us do a panel.
But that I figured you had a sigh of relief when you read that.
The introvert me, yes, yeah.
Hey, Kassan, come up with some parameters for this because I'm intrigued.
Are we doing a superhero speak death battle? This is gonna be fun.
No, we'll discuss this. I want parameters though.
Okay.
So John's the supervillain. He has to come up with the villain plot.
Let's see what this is. Let's go. All right, let's kind of bring.
Let's wrap this up.
Because we've talked about everything that we can get out of this.
I think it would have been a decent movie. It might have been a better animated movie, like to wrap up. The Justice League Unlimited series, maybe.
Well, they wrapped up the Justice League Unlimited series twice, so.
Well, that is true.
Because they got that surprise last season that they got, so.
Which is like their best season. I love the second season.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's awesome.
But it would have made a cool animated movie. Because in an animated movie, you don't have to establish all that. Like people are buying the animated movie or watching it because they love Batman and Superman already and know their relationship.
They're in.
I think it was a much better Justice League movie than what we got, and with a couple of rewrites, probably would have been a hit, but it never happened. Wait, hold on. James Gunn, are you watching?
No.
Read the script. Take some ideas from it. Heroes don't kill.
Or just Or just read Tower of Babel.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, so we're not going to score it, but I'm going to say again, it's out there on the internet.
Check it out.
Yeah, go find it. You can find it and download it for free. It's quite easy. So, all right, let's bring this one in for a landing. Let's wrap this up. Let's go around with either recommendations or what did you learn on the podcast this week. And JD, you can go first.
I ain't learned shit. I just finished Doctor Sleep for the second time. I haven't read it since the book came out about a decade ago. I had a new appreciation for it this time around, and I just rewatched the movie, echoing something Ray and I had done on his podcast about a year or two ago. And it read even better the second time through, man. I love that book. Highly recommend Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining.
Cool. All right, John.
There is a set of books called The 20-Sided Sorceress. That's the name of the series by Annie Belay. And I'm making my way through all of the series that I used to read. I had like a couple of years where I didn't read there, so I'm going back to this one. I'm rereading it now because there's like 5 other books that came out since the last time I went through it, and it's they're really quick books. They're really interesting. Female protagonist, very well written. And definitely laden with geek speak, like they're playing, StarCraft and geek games in the background and all this. It's just, and like the main character, her talisman is a 20-sided die. So, yeah, that's my recommendation. And did I learn anything? Obviously I haven't learned well enough how to avoid having to do presentations in large groups. So, no, I didn't learn anything.
I learned that if we push John just a little bit more, he will become a supervillain, and his catchphrase will be the power of boners. It's just, I can see it. It's the future of the DCEU.
Boner power.
At work, I'm known as the Dragon Tamer and the Dark Regent. I'm already a supervillain.
That sounds like a porn star thing too. I'm the Dragon Tamer.
I use the power of boners
by the
to
gods.
tame the dragons.
No, that's enough. Thank you very much. Alrighty then.
And just to make Drew happy, I recommend that if you're watching this, if you missed us live, you're watching this after the fact, you know what? Click that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live on Sunday nights here on this channel. I don't have any actual recommendations. I don't even know what we're doing next week. That's the problem. Ahsoka.
Probably more Ahsoka Tano, yeah.
If you have not watched Ahsoka yet, I recommend go watch it. I enjoy it. I think this is just as good as The Mandalorian. This is one of those shows that gives you hope that Star Wars is headed in the right direction again. I also recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page. Comic reviews by Chris, and so much more. Also, don't forget to check out our interview series also on this channel. It's only on YouTube. I don't put it anywhere else. I just did an interview with Carissa Grant this week, creator of a book called Redemption, and I'll have another one for you guys next week. So yeah, go check those out. And on that note, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your kid get caught in the door. Have a good week.